Hi guys, what is going on and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I am going to be doing a Q&A. So I basically put up a questions box on my Instagram yesterday and I told you to ask me any questions you wanted. And basically guys, a lot of the questions were like a lot more fitness orientated yesterday. So I decided for today's video I'm actually just going to go back to my roots, sit down and give an informative fitness Q&A because these are one of my favourite videos to record, and this is one of the main reasons for my channel is to educate ye and to relay any information that I learn onto ye so that we're all growing and we're all progressing together. And to be honest guys, I haven't actually sat down and done a proper informative fitness video in quite a while, so I'm really excited to answer some questions today. I hope that you learned something new today guys, and I hope that you go away from this video with some new tips and tricks to implement into your own routines. I am literally just going to dive straight in, see what you guys asked me. So first question, how often do you train your legs? So at the moment I do 2 full leg sessions per week, and then I also have 1 posterior chain day. So posterior chain is basically all the back of your body. So it's like your rear delts, your back, your glutes and your hamstrings. So on that day I have 1 hamstring exercise and 1 glute exercise. So I wouldn't really even call that a leg day at all. Like, it's not another leg day. So basically I have 2 full leg sessions per week, and then later on in the week I have 1 more glute exercise and 1 more hamstring exercise. I know it sounds complicated guys, but that's just how my split works at the moment. And I did change it up slightly to suit bikini style training instead, because all along I have been doing an upper lower split because I always wanted my upper body to match my lower body. But for bikini they do look for a slightly more developed lower body. Nothing major, but your upper body is not as important basically. So I still do hit my upper body quite a bit, but my current split is slightly more focused on my glutes and legs. Do you include a lot of abs in your workouts? So to answer this question, no, I actually don't. I don't train abs quite often at all. Well, at least I don't isolate my abs that often. Obviously, any heavy compound movements in your routines, like squats or deadlifts, these engage your core and strengthen your core quite a bit. And since I've been young guys, I've been playing sports my whole life before I ever started lifting, and I've always had quite a naturally strong core. So for that reason I don't really feel the need to actually isolate my abs in my workouts. Well, at the moment anyway. When I'm on prep I do isolate them from time to time. I might add in a couple of ab exercises at the end of my cardio session, but that's just based on my own kind of genetics and my own strong points and weak points. If you're a person with a weak core or someone that's just trying to build more strength in your core, then I would definitely recommend including more ab isolation exercises, but that's just me. Next up, this is actually a question I always avoid, and you probably know why, but I'm going to answer it anyway. So it's, what are your calories and macros right now? So firstly, of course, you would know that my macros and my calories really don't matter, because these are completely suited to my body and my body only. They're suited to my goals, my body weight, my body composition, and my calories and macros are going to be different to yours. But I know a lot of you are just really curious. Even in my last full day of eating video, I had some people are really upset in the comments that I didn't actually specify my macros and calories. But basically, to answer it anyway, even though this info is quite useless, as I mentioned, I am currently on 2,350 calories. My protein goal is 140 grams. I have a minimum fat goal of 55 grams, and then I play around with my carbohydrate and fat intake, to be honest, at the moment. My main goal always is to hit my calories, hit my protein, and then I play around with my fats and carbs, because I'm not on prep at the moment. I don't really need to be that particular right now with my fat and carb intake. When I do go back into a dieting phase, I do track my carbs and my fats, and I do have a goal for each of them. But at the moment I enjoy having a little bit more freedom with the foods that I can eat. I obviously do if it fits your macros. So even though I still basically eat a lot of the same meals and foods each day, I just like having the choice of playing around with my food groups. And obviously guys, I've been dieting and training, and I have just been doing this for years, so I'm kind of aware of what foods to eat. If you're completely new to dieting and training, you might need a little bit more structure in your diet plan, but for me, that's my approach at the moment. I'm bulking, so I'm on 2,350 calories as we speak. That will definitely be increasing towards the end of this year before I do go back into a cut. My minimum protein is 140 per day, and my minimum fat is 55 grams per day. And yeah, that's my approach at the moment for any of you that did ask. Next question, should I bulk or cut first? So obviously the main answer here would be like, what is your goal? I don't know if you want to build tissue or if you want to lose body fat. So it would depend on what your goal is. But in general, I would always recommend that people start at their maintenance calories and either cut down from there or else build up from there. So if you're looking to lose body fat, always start at maintenance and then gradually drop your calories to go into a calorie deficit. If you're looking to bulk, sometimes you might need to do like a little mini cut first to just get to a body fat percentage that you are happy with. I always do recommend that like you start a bulk at a healthy and comfortable body fat percentage for you and then gradually build up your calories, because if you start a bulk slightly leaner, your body will be a lot more responsive and like your uptake of nutrients would be a lot better, and it would be a lot easier to visually see your progress if you have a little bit more muscle definition starting off on your bulk. So to answer your question, should you bulk or cut first? It depends on what your goal is, but in general, just start at maintenance and either cut from there or else increase your calories from there. That's probably like the best answer I could give to the general public. If it was like a specific individual, I'd be able to give a little bit more info. What was the hardest part about your bikini prep? So to be honest, I think the hardest part for me was actually after, like coming out of prep. I found quite tough mentally to like get out of the prep mindset. So I did touch on this in a video like maybe a couple of months back. I remember during lockdown I spoke about it briefly, but basically like the dieting and training and the steps and cardio and all that business, I didn't struggle with that at all because that's what I sign up for and that's what I love. I love that part of the sport. But the part that I struggled with the most was actually like finding a balance basically when I came back out of prep. I found it difficult to kind of like let my hair down again and eat off plan. I was starting to feel guilty and stuff when I ate off plan, which isn't like me at all. I have like a really healthy relationship with food and the gym. So that was probably the hardest part of prep for me, just like learning how to find balance again when you come back out of it. But I did get through it in the end, and I still have a really good relationship with food and with the gym and with myself, and it's definitely something that'll help me in the future. Like I know what to expect basically for when I do go into prep again next year. Do you have any friends in the fitness industry or do you keep to yourself? So I have a lot of friends in the industry, especially like from Alphalete. That would be the main way I made friends in the industry, and these are friends that I'm going to have for life. Like any of the girls on the Alphalete team, it's so cool because we're all from literally different corners of the planet. Like I'm over here in Ireland, Ali is in Houston, Texas, Jazzy is in Texas, Brittany's in Kentucky, Gabby is in Canada. Like we are all literally in different corners of the globe, and we are all still really, really close friends and chat all the time. So I wouldn't say I have a load of friends in the industry, but the girls that I do have, I hold quite closely to me. Do you think home workouts can actually be effective? So to answer this question, I would say yes, home workouts can definitely be effective, but it just depends on where you are at with your journey. Like for example, for someone like Gary, who is a massive bodybuilder, like he's about 280 pounds, he needs so much weight to continue progressing. If he's brought back down to just using dumbbells, then he would go backwards because he has built up so much strength in the first place. But for us girls, and for especially like beginners or girls that don't have the goal of being absolutely huge, we can make plenty of progress from home, but I would recommend having some form of resistance. Like you could only get so far with bodyweight workouts if your goal is to like build new tissue. If your goal is solely fat loss, and if you're doing home workouts, you can lose as much fat from home than you can at the gym. So from a fat loss perspective, it makes absolutely no difference, to be honest. All you need for a fat loss is a calorie deficit, and you can do that from diet alone without any home workouts. But if you're looking to build tissue, I think for beginners and for girls that aren't used to lifting really heavy weights, we can still progress from home. For massive bodybuilders, it's a different story. They do need loads of weight to be able to progress. How do you stay so motivated? So the answer to this is that I actually don't. There are plenty of days like throughout the year where I am like, I literally don't want to move. I don't want to work. I don't want to record. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to follow my diet. I am not an extremely motivated person by any means. I just like what I do, and I build habits so that I don't have to rely on motivation, because you're never ever going to last at anything if you need that motivation every single morning to get up. You need to get to a point where it's just a habit for you to do these things whether you feel like it or not. And to be honest, that's a lot more valuable than like being motivated ever will be. It's just doing things whether you want to or whether you're tired, like you just do it because that's how you roll. I break my days down into small simple tasks and I just tick them off in my notes as I go, and that's just like the type of person I am. I prefer to just have my list of things that I need to do. Even if I don't want to do it, I have to do it because it's on the list, and that's what helps me basically. Do your fitness goals ever affect your social life or relationships? So I would say this depends on what my goals are at the time. So at the moment, my fitness goals really wouldn't get in the way of my social life or like my relationships with my friends or family at all. I am not doing like any major dieting at the moment. I'm just following my gym plan and following my calories and macros, and I sometimes have like 1 or 2 cheat meals a week depending on what's going on. We're basically gone back into like lockdown, so I don't even really have as many cheat meals because I'm obviously not seeing people. But for a while, when things opened again, I might have eaten out with my friends once or twice a week, and that doesn't bother me in the slightest because I'm not trying to like be shredded or get lean right now. But when I am seriously dieting, then I would say sometimes my fitness goals would clash with my social life, and that's just something that I deal with and get on with, because I know that my friends and anyone that I have a close relationship, they will understand my goals, and they're going to understand that sometimes I might not be able to come out and eat, or sometimes I might not be able to come out and have drinks if it doesn't like align with my goals at the time. So to answer your question, yes and no, but like majority of the time my fitness goals and my social life just kind of like work in unison with each other. I have like quite a nice balance for most of the year, which is great. So somebody asked how to stop a binging habit. So this is quite a tough question and it's quite a common thing. I am going to put up my hand and say that I didn't study eating disorders for years the way other people would have. So if you have like a serious, really bad binge eating disorder or any sort of eating disorder, I would recommend seeing a professional as soon as you can, because these disorders can really take over your life. Yes, I am qualified in nutrition and personal training, but for real binge eating issues or any like sort of eating disorder, you're going to need a lot more help than what I can give in this video. Normally people do get into these binge eating disorders from like heavily restricting their calories, and then they end up binging because they're absolutely starving. They get like a taste of chocolate and then just need to eat so much because their body is basically deprived. And a lot of people that have binge eating disorders do track their calories. So the only advice I will give in this video is to just stop tracking your calories. Just eat until your body feels satisfied, and just remove any numbers or calculating or anything to do with tracking your food. Shouldn't exist if you're trying to recover from a binge eating disorder. These disorders take a long time to recover from, and for a lot of people, you might think that you've kind of fixed it, that you haven't binged in a while, and it might creep back up, and it will take time and it will take practice. It is a really, really difficult thing to live with, but you can recover and people do recover. So the only advice I'm going to give today is just to remove any restriction to do with your eating, remove any numbers or calculating to do with your food, and just eat until your body feels satisfied. Go and see a professional and keep your head held high, and remember that these things do pass and that you can recover, and that your eating disorder is important and you shouldn't just brush it aside, because these disorders really can take over your life, guys. So that's all the advice I want to give on that topic. So that is pretty much it for today's Q&A, guys. I hope I covered enough topics and enough questions for you. If you do have any further questions, then just pop them in the comment section and I will have a flick through those later. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time.